Okay, so this is part 2. The first 2 videos is part 1A, part 1B. This is part 2. I will give you a title when I come up with it when it posts. So if you're watching this and it's posted, then you already know what the title is, which is why I'm starting off with part whatever. Okay, so like I said, some stuff came across my TikTok about Dog the Bounty Hunter. Because I can't pronounce the tribe in which he hails from, we're going to Google it. What native tribe does Dog the Bounty Hunter belong to?
Here is some information for Dog the Bounty Hunter ethnicity. According to Wikipedia, he is of German and English descent on his father's side, and of English and Chiricahua descent on his mother's side. At the age of 15, Chapman joined the Devil's Disciples, an outlaw motorcycle club, and ran away from home.
Irrelevant. Whatever they just said. So a lot of natives and a female native that brought this to my attention. Brought that up as I drink my mixed Gatorade. It's orange and blue. They make green. It's really tasty. Too tasty. Needs water. It's like I'm drinking a mouth full of sugar. I have learned a very valuable lesson from this. Don't do it again. Oh my God. The hell was I thinking? Oh my God. Hope that solves it. If not, put that shit out. Like I did with the Sprite in the Gatorade. Wasn't the best idea. It was also like drinking a bottle of sugar. Irrelevant. So, the dog is part native. And I got nothing really personal against him other than what the young lady said on my TikTok, which is like 1,000% correct. If you're part native, you should be engaging more in missing and murdered indigenous people. That's pretty much all I have to say to him. It's the same thing that I said in the other video about like famous native actors and stuff who could do the one thing that I can't do. You have resources to get to these places like these pipelines. You have resources to literally come out and speak on the behalf of missing and murdered indigenous people. And if I'm overshooting or overreaching, then I'm sorry. But it wasn't too long ago when one of my favorite natives, Wayne Newton, was fighting to get Pocahontas' bones back to the States. Okay, I don't know what tribe Wayne Newton comes from. But I don't think that Pocahontas was Cherokee for sure. She was Powhatan. But still, he was fighting to get her bones back to the United States. So, I'm not trying to insult or hurt anyone who's famous, who's native. But you could probably lend a hand on some of these native causes, because you're fucking native. I'm not trying to say that as being a dick, but let's put it out there. I really didn't see too many famous natives doing things, not even for Standing Rock. And maybe because I didn't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen. But again, I didn't see it. That's what I'm saying. And then with the young lady and the fact that dog is part Chippewa, whatever the fuck Google said, that he should be doing that. If y'all don't agree with me, I'm sorry, but this is the best I can do for natives because I'm nobody. Understand? I'm an actor who has no pot to piss in, no ground to stand on. No one knows who I am. When they look at me, they say, oh, this guy, his name was James Williams Jr. His name now is Echo Fang Grey Wolf. And he's nobody. He's part native, but whoop-de-fucking-do. Everybody and their mother's fucking part native, and everybody and their mother fucking knows martial arts. And about a third of that I just said is true. The difference maker is, for the actors who are native who have made it, for the famous people who are native who have made it, the key to that was the word "you've made it." Alright? I'm still trying to make it after 21 years in this business. So, I'm not the last of the Mohicans. I'm not Steven Seagal on Deadly Ground, which, by the way, the lead actress was not native. She was actually Chinese. So, yeah. Little Drum Beater was also Chinese. Vivian Wu and Joan Chen. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why did you bring them up? And I say, well, a lot of the scripts that I wrote, my character, sometimes is part native and sometimes he's part Chinese, but they're always part black. Alright? Because I can't escape that. Alright? Ever. So moving on. By the time I left the first video, I was talking about infighting on native TikTok. I could save that for the last video. But I think I might want to touch on it now instead. And do something special or better for the last video to wrap it all up. So we're going to talk about the Native American color wheel first. And then we're going to talk about the native infighting. Alright? Because I follow the shit out of native TikTok. I'm currently banned on TikTok right now for making a stitch about vaccines and shit. But that's a video all in itself that maybe will take place after my shower. But, that being put to the side, because there was some other native stuff that happened in the military that I didn't know I could have used in my behalf, but that's that part about being a half-breed that didn't count. Anyway, there's a lot of infighting on native TikTok. Light-skinned natives versus dark-skinned natives, and in-between natives like me on the color scale, because I'm high yellow, but I'm also dark on the arms because I refuse to wear long-sleeve shirts unless it gets exceptionally cold. Okay, Virginia has some fucked up weather, so sometimes it gets exceptionally cold. I still don't lighten up. Just know that this is homegrown, baby. Now, mixed natives. Let's go with us first. Because as mixed natives, whether you're light-skinned or dark-skinned, or Afro-Indigenous, because you may have more black features than native features, we get the shit. Understand that shit. We get the shit. We get kicked while we're down. A lot of mixed natives have probably gone through this. You're not pure blood. Thank God I finally started listening to some of the natives on TikTok that have accepted me as being native. Because it's been my biggest fucking problem of not being pure blood. And being told that shit to your face is even worse. Alright? It is so much worse when someone who's native, who's full blood, who's lived on the reservation, who knows native life, something that we who don't live on we who don't live on reservations have pretty much been deprived of. Now, we don't know the way of the land. We don't know all the things. Well, both my grandmothers, on my mom's side and my dad's side, both neglected our native side. Period. Just raised us as blacks. That's it. My great-grandmother, on the other hand, gave me some native stories. Some about her and her brother John running through the woods in their moccasins, and some about Native American legends, which my twisted mind can't remember damn near any of them. But I remember her and John. I never met John. Hi, Uncle John. God rest your soul, because there's no way in fuck you're still alive now. And if you are, you're immortal. And to any of my family members who came from my great-uncle John, hook me up. Meet me. Echo Fang Grey Wolf. Look for my real name, James Williams Jr. And we'll figure shit out. Alright? So let's finish. For us mixed natives, another young lady who came across my FYP made a very sound point about how much crap mixed natives get. Not just from society that's not native, but society that is native. Which really sucks. And you kind of feel like this on both cheeks. These cheeks. Because if you're full native, you have no idea of the shit we go through when somebody who's full native looks at us and says, you're not pure blood. You mix with black? Yeah, but I'm also mixed with white. So it's like a double fuck for me. And then there are some natives, like the ones who wouldn't let me date the chieftain's daughter. with one of the high chieftains of whatever tribe they came from. You're not pure blood. Stay away from her. We don't want your kind near us. You won't be welcomed on our reservation. That shit kind of sucks. Like, literally sucks. They were our guest for the wheelchair basketball team. They were our guest. And me and her were getting along pretty good for the week and some change in the days that they were there. Yeah, I think it was like maybe 4 days max, which is almost a week. But we were getting along. We talked every time we spoke to each other. I know we talked for hours, pretty much, until she had to go play. Then after she got finished playing, we talked some more. And last day they had awards dinner. That was the day I met two of her uncles, bodyguards, whatever you want to call them. And they both rolled up on me one at a time and told me how unpure I was and that I could never date anybody from their tribe, and especially her. So yeah, for all of you mixed natives and the infighting on TikTok, this shit's gotta stop. This shit's gotta stop, yo. This shit has got to stop. Because you're feeding the agenda. You're feeding the agenda that has been put on every person of color by the government systemically. Make them hate each other, make them kill each other, and we'll pick up the crumbs. We'll make the crumbs need us, i.e. introduce alcohol and drugs into society. People get addicted to this shit, the next goddamn thing you know, the clusterfuck goes from being itty-bitty to kaboom, combustible, bombastic, fantastic, and not only did you land on Plymouth Rock, but Plymouth Rock rolled your ass over a few times, then exploded into shards, reassembled, and did this shit again. Like some shit out of Thanos' nightmare. Now, why are we fighting? Why are we fighting against each other instead of for each other? I got 4 guys that I follow. 3 guys are on one guy's ass for something about medicine. I don't know what it is, and I don't care. I'm staying neutral. I don't want anything to do with it. I want them to work that shit out. But they need to understand, while they're fighting each other, we're losing fights on the front lines. We're losing fights against pipelines. We're losing fights against oil spills on native land and water. We're losing. And we will continue to lose. Because you continue to fight each other. And then you continue to fight against people who are half native. Half white, half native, half black, half native, Afro-Indigenous, whatever you want to call them. I just call myself mixed. That's it. But from here on out, I'm billing myself out as a native. Under the name of Echo Fang Grey Wolf. Deal with it. And as Echo Fang Grey Wolf, this Cherokee fire that burns within this Typhoon warrior, you need to understand something. If we're not on the same side, we don't have a side. Get that shit straight. Because here's that thing. While we're fighting each other and not thinking about the consequences of our words or our actions, we're only doing the job of the people that we call colonizers. We're only doing the people's job by ending our own problems, then we can go against our problems that they're causing. But until that, while we're all fighting over dumb shit, who's native, who's not native? Oh, you're from First Nations up in Canada. Well, we're Native Americans from America. We're more native than you are. We're First Nations. We're more native. And then along comes Mexico. We're native too. We're just as native as you, Aztec, Incan, Mayans. We were forced out of Mexico, down further south into Brazil and Chile and the Amazon. Now, you have the 2 Americas, Mexico and Canada, all natives, spawning from all of the nations before we splintered off into the different tribes that we became. And now, we're infighting. Surviving a Holocaust for eons only to fight each other over something as simple as skin tone and blood quantum. And I'm still waiting on my DNA test, by the way, from Ancestry. I will be going to CRI or CRZ or whatever the fuck it is as soon as I find out how much it costs and how much money I have in my account that I can spend out for the kit. But if we're going to keep fighting each other, we are never going to win. We are never going to win as long as someone's out there saying, I hate you because you're not full native. I hate you because you're Navajo and I'm Sioux. I hate you because you're indigenous Mexican. Or I hate you because you're indigenous Ayan, indigenous Inca, indigenous Mayan, indigenous Aztec. We don't want you to be counted as native. We don't want you because you're Cherokee, but we're Cheyenne. We don't want you because we're Seminole and you're Powhatan or Monacan or Tappahannock or Rappahannock or whatever other tribe you come from. We don't want you because you're Apache and Apache is strong. We don't want you because you're Sioux or Lakota because you're Lakota and strong. We don't want you because you're Hopi and your Hopi have crazy legends and you're strong. Sometimes those crazy legends can be what saves us and unite us instead of this infighting on this fucking color wheel. Yeah, I'm high yellow. I will never be yellow enough or white enough to pass as white passing. But I'm never going to be dark enough to pass for black passing. You see the clusterfuck I'm in? Having to prove my blackness most of my life has been a problem. Never really had to prove my nativeness after the 2 incidences with the 2 uncles telling me that I wasn't pure blood. But always having to answer people when they ask me this question. What are you mixed with? God forbid I say anything other than Cherokee. Because for a bit there, I was questioning my heritage myself. Because Cherokee and Iroquois are kind of the same. And I didn't want to say Iroquois because I don't know which one's bigger. But then I watched this thing on my For You page about the Trail of Tears, and that Cherokee actually did have a place in Virginia. So now I don't really question my heritage anymore, because when I first Googled, like, Cherokee Nation, Oklahoma, but it didn't say where Cherokees originated, it only said where Cherokees were moved to. So when I watched the Trail of Tears, Cherokee had Virginia, Tennessee, West Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, all the way down to fucking Georgia. I didn't know the Cherokee tribe was that big. But see, what Google also left off was the millions of tribes that were wiped the fuck out and barely got any recognition. Oh, I'm sorry. I was in the military, so some got some recognition. They named a fucking couple of helicopters and some tanks. Maybe a couple of battleships. Oh, football teams. Let's not forget football teams. Or baseball teams. Yeah. Okay, so you have acknowledgement that they existed, but you don't treat their existence as worthiness. The Kiowa were more than a fucking helicopter. I'm sorry if that offends anybody. Especially natives that were serving in the military who don't get the recognition that they deserve. Which I will bring up, by the way. Because my birth certificate says black, they shaved my fucking head bald. Where my friend who was in the military with me, he never got his hair cut. Ever. The entire time when I was at Fort Benning, Georgia, he never got his hair cut. But I learned out that there was an experiment. This is my avatar ass. This is me. My avatar looking ass. Looking just like the fucking avatar. Yeah, Aang. Yeah, I look just like fucking Aang. Put a blue diamond there and I'm straight. That's why this shit isn't going anywhere. In my 5 head. You know? So never again. Never again will this be gone. This is staying until I die. Unless I marry a woman, preferably, and unless she tells me to cut it. I probably still won't cut it. Because it's one of the only things I have to my Native American heritage, plus my other mixed heritage. But in the Army, they shaved my head bald. My one of my bunkmates kept his long hair, and he was from the West Coast. I think he was Lakota. So, like I said, infighting. Let's get back onto it. Let's get back onto the infighting. Let's get back onto the color wheel. Let's get back onto the shit that we can't fix because you choose not to. Yeah, all of us are guilty of it, but some of us won't let it go. Why am I so easy to fix the color wheel? Because I have the color wheel on at least two sides of my ethnicity. My black side, you're practically a white boy. My native side, you're practically a black boy. The problem was I don't hang around enough natives to know that. Up until those two dudes with that sexy chieftain's daughter. No, I never had a problem with natives until that time. I've had a couple of problems with some white cats, and a lot of my problems have come from black cats. But the infighting in TikTok reminds me of how much my life sucks. And then it reminds me of this is how it begins. There was a TikTok rivalry not too long ago where some tribe called out another tribe about who helped who during what battle and what war when our civilizations were destroyed. I know you're thinking, but the civilizations weren't destroyed. Well, let me put it to you this way. If you don't think that native life was not destroyed or put in an uproar, anytime you are dragged by force and gunpoint and that they would shoot you if you didn't walk from one state to another state to live on a hunk of land that now they're trying to take back from you. Yeah, but say your life was destroyed. Your civilization was destroyed. Our grandparents, and for all natives watching, our grandparents and their grandparents before them, destroyed. Some of them didn't even have children. Some of them couldn't have children. Let's not forget forced sterilization. So when I get mad and when I talk to us natives about infighting on native TikTok and why it has to stop, remember all the things we lost. Not just what we just found out about the residential schools. Not about what we know about blood quantum and all that dumb shit that you can't fix. But the shit you're fighting over. Natives need to unite. Not be at each other's throats. We have enough problems. And nothing was ever a perfect utopia. But it won't be anything if we keep fighting each other. That's the problem with that. We keep fighting each other. Stay tuned for part 3. Thank you guys very much. Be seeing you.